At Ukraine-Russia border but calls back U.S. warships. He's basically sanctioned them, and this is another escalation in a chapter of we just talked about China's U.S. invasion point now a big World War III target. We just put a video out on that. You should check that out here in a few. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this. He's actually live right now. I'm about to go. Thanks for tuning in here live. Biden declared a national emergency at Ukraine-Russia border but calls back U.S. warships. He's basically sanctioned them, and this is another escalation in a chapter of we just talked about China's U.S. invasion point now a big World War III target. We just put a video out on that. You should check that out here in a few. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this. He's actually live right now. I'm about to go into that live pretty much conversation that's going on, and then we can show you the actual emergency order he put in. Biden declares national emergency to deal with Russian threat and slap sanctions. So reportedly he's pulled back the ships, but he still declared a national emergency on this issue. His executive order, Joe Biden underscored Moscow's efforts to undermine the conduct of free and fair democratic elections. So again, they're getting them on this note, which we've all been hearing for the longest. And again, this is just an escalation into the plan, man. United States President Joe Biden has imposed new sanctions on Russia and expelled 10 of his diplomats in response to specific harmful foreign activities. He's live right now. I'm trying to go into this right now while he's live. All right, so yeah, he's already live right now. So I'm going to go into this. He says, thank you for joining, he said. All right, move forward.
The relationship between our two countries. I was candid, respectful. Conversation was candid and respectful. Two great powers, a significant responsibility for global stability. And President Putin and I have had a significant responsibility to steward that relationship. I take that responsibility very seriously, as I'm sure he does. Russia and Americans are both proud and patriotic people. And I believe the Russian people, like the American people, are invested in a peaceful and secure future of our world. During the campaign for the presidency, I was unequivocal that if I was elected president, I'd respond to any attempt to influence our elections, the last election, and because elections are sacred, they're sovereign undertakings, they're an expression of the will of the American people, and we cannot allow a foreign power to interfere in our democratic process with impunity. And I told them if it turned out that as I thought, that there was engagement in our elections, that I'd respond. Later, during the transition, as we learned more about the SolarWinds cyber intrusion, I made clear that I would respond once we determined who had, in fact, conducted a hack on the scope and scale that occurred. When President Putin called me in January after I was sworn in to congratulate me, I told him that my administration, we were looking very carefully, now that we had access to all the data, and at the issues to assess Russia's role, and then determine what response we would make. When we spoke again this week, I told them that we would shortly be responding in a measured and a proportionate way because we had concluded that they had interfered in the election and the SolarWinds was totally inappropriate. Today, I've approved several steps, including the expulsion of several Russian officials as a consequence of their actions. I've also signed an executive order authorizing new measures, including sanctions to address specific harmful actions that Russia has taken against U.S. interests. I was clear with President Putin.
Well, this dude trying to kick the World War III off of Russia so bad, dude. Just salivating about World War III Russia all night. Just can you think about these people going home at night and just salivating like some salamander over all this crap? It's really disgusting. But anyway, let's play this more.
And we could have gone further, but I chose not to do so. I chose to be proportionate. The United States is not looking to kick off a cycle of escalation and conflict with Russia. We want a stable, predictable relationship.
A psycho-escalation.
If Russia continues to interfere with our democracy, I'm prepared to take further actions to respond. It is my responsibility as President of the United States to do so. But throughout our long history of competition, our two countries have been able to find ways to manage tensions and to keep them from escalating out of control. There are also areas where Russia and the United States can and should work together. For example,
Climate change.
in the earliest days of my administration, we were able to...
I bet this dude said something about climate change, so that's the next emergency. They're supposed to declare Project Veritas, CNN exposed, saying they're going to push climate fear next. But obviously that's how they get the UN in, but let's play more.
Move quickly to extend for 5 years the New START Treaty and maintain that key element of nuclear stability between our nations. And that was in the interest of the United States, Russia, and quite frankly of the world. And we got it done. When I spoke to President Putin, I expressed my belief.
I think I heard him say Star Treaty in that speech, which is an alien term. So I'm not sure if I heard that. I think he said it mad fast. Somebody run this whole video back and listen to it very carefully. Let me know if he said that, because I could be mistaken. I just sounded. I might be wrong, but just somebody do that for me, please.
The communication between the two of us personally and directly was to be essential in moving forward to a more effective relationship, and he agreed on that point. To that end, I propose that we meet in person this summer in Europe for a summit to address a range of issues facing both of our countries. Our teams are discussing that possibility right now. And out of that summit, where to occur, and I believe it will, the United States and Russia could launch a strategic stability dialogue to pursue cooperation in arms control and security. We can address critical global challenges that require Russia and the United States to work together, including reining in nuclear threats from Iran and North Korea, ending this pandemic globally, and meeting the existential crisis of climate change.
Told you.
I also made clear to President Putin.
Told you was going to say that one, because that's the final equation, right? And they already been going through the climate wars. There's just a tornado zone somewhere. And if you look on Fox, just look up war zone, and then tornado, just say tornado war zone. And they said the area looked like a war zone. So they don't think that they're already pushing the climate attacks already, and the weather warfare operations. It's already happening. I'm going to play some more of this, though.
The United States is unwavering in our support of our allies and partners in Europe. In that vein, I expressed concern about Russia's military buildup on Ukraine's border and in occupied Crimea. I affirmed U.S. support for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine, and I strongly urged him to refrain from any military action. Now is the time to de-escalate.
Now is the time he pulled out robot tanks and invisible robots and all that weird stuff and drones. So, and they get the biochemistry. You got to check the last video out I did.
Forward is through thoughtful dialogue and diplomatic process. The U.S. is prepared to continue constructively to move forward that process.
If you understand what just happened, how the hell that, man, turn that bullshit off my thing. I didn't say no, oh, they always gotta sneak something on. Alright, so if you don't get what just happened, what we just basically said, then I'll tell you what was just basically said, because some of you guys may not get it. Pretty simple. Your president just punked out to fucking Russia. He gave a soft declare war, which is really not a real declare war. If you know what a real declare war, that's not a real declare war. That was a soft declare war. All right, and then he backtracked. Why? Because he know he's outmanned and outgunned when it comes to China and Russia. United States cannot beat China on their own. Never mind Russia on their own. And they are fucking joined by the hip, Russia and China, although they got some issues. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much, in other words, America's not a superpower anymore. America is not a superpower anymore, and they know it. They're recognizing that they're not. So at this point, Russia can bully them all they want, and there's nothing they can do about it. But he had the nerve to even say anything about war. He should have set up and just made a peace treaty or something. But he won't. He's, Biden's an idiot.
My bottom line is this.
Biden's an idiot.
Well, there's an interest in the United States to work with Russia We should
I don't know why
and
y'all
we
voted
will.
for this. I didn't vote for
If Russia
nobody.
seeks to violate the interests of the United States,
I didn't
we
vote.
will respond. We'll always stand in defense of our country, our institutions, our people, and our allies. Thank you very
So
much.
there you go. He said he will respond. He said thank you very much. So you already know what this dude been doing. And I just wanted to put this video out real quickly because this is what's going on. The national emergency declared against Russia. And so now we're in that situation too. So that's boiling up and cooking up as well. And then at the end, I think he's gonna walk out now, I guess. Just hope he doesn't fall on the way out. Anyway.
Behavior. We indicated we would talk about it. I laid out as I said, very simple. I said during the campaign, I said when he called to congratulate me on being elected, I said subsequent to that, this last conversation, that if it turned out that he was engaged in activities that he'd been accused of in cybersecurity.
Alright, yeah, he's just basically gonna try to escalate the situation. So I wanted to put that out because he just declared that pretty much hours ago. They said, so this was news I didn't even know about. Fear No Man, he actually talked about it, and then I shared his last video, and now I put this one out. So I put another video out about the border invasion points that you can check out on the right side. It's going to be at the end of this live stream. So what do you think is going to come of this, and do you really think Putin and Biden is going to be best friends, or do you think they're working behind the scenes together, or is Biden just doing the same escalatory United States plan to go after Russia, obviously, Iran, obviously? That wasn't a long-scale year plan. The military generals didn't even know why, but that was the final plan. So thanks for tuning in. It's a live report, and share it out and give it to other people.
So all praise to nobody else, man. Y'all better wake up. Peace and love. This is getting crazy.